The Chicago Bears head west to take on the Arizona Cardinals this week. Chicago is currently installed as a 5.5-point favorite on BETDAQ, 36.5, a very low total in this game. Now, these two teams have both collapsed over the second half of the season. I think as far as Arizona goes, collapsed is putting it mildly. The Cardinals, after starting 4-0, had lost 9 straight games before last week when they turned it around and blew out the Detroit Lions. Now, anybody who follows pro football was shocked with last week's result because the Cardinals, just a week before last, were beaten 58-0 by Seattle. That's right, 58-0. Again, they turned it around and beat the Lions by 28 last week. I think the most surprising part of that game was the fact that Arizona actually scored 38 points. If you've seen this offense play over the last couple of months, you'd have thought they could have played 3 or 4 games without totaling 38 points. It only took them 4 quarters against the Detroit Lions, but it wasn't the offense. It wasn't the offense that did that. Arizona totaled less than 200 yards of offense in that game, 293 return yards, and 2 defensive touchdowns. That's how they got to that 38-point number. And quite frankly, I think if they're going to keep it close with the Chicago Bears this week, it's going to take more of the same. Because Arizona does have the single worst offense in the NFL, as we mentioned, 32nd in total offense. And the Bears have an excellent defense. They're 5th in the league in yards allowed, 3rd in points allowed. Now, they've been missing middle linebacker Brian Urlacher, especially their rush defense. With Urlacher, the Bears were top 5 rush defense all year, but they really slipped since he left the lineup a couple of weeks ago after he pulled his hamstring in the last play or next to last play, I don't remember, in that overtime victory, the overtime loss against the Seattle Seahawks. Urlacher's going to miss this game again, but again, Arizona is so bad on offense, I'm just not sure it's going to hurt him in this game. Ryan Lindley going at quarterback again for the Cardinals. Look for a couple of takeaways here from on the part of the Chicago Bears defense. And actually, the only reason I don't lead towards the under here, even though it's a really low total, 36.5, I would like the under here, except I'm worried about defensive touchdowns that could be scored or return touchdowns that could be scored by both teams. Chicago, of course, their return man, Devin Hester, he only has set the all-time NFL record for return touchdowns. And Arizona, they've got a guy in Patrick Peterson. He might not have Hester's resume, but right now, at this moment, I'm not sure Patrick Peterson isn't an even better return man than Devin Hester. Patrick Peterson is also one of the best young cornerbacks in the NFL. Arizona has an excellent secondary. And as we said, if they want to keep it close in this game, they're going to have to do something like they did last week, create a couple of turnovers. They picked Matt Stafford off 3 times last week. And we know that Jay Cutler, sometimes he'll have meltdown games where he throws multiple interceptions, takes multiple sacks. Another reason I'm worried about betting the under here, because I worry about Cutler turning it over, just like I worry about Ryan Lindley turning it over. And this could be a game where we see the defenses collectively outscore the offenses. I don't know when the last time that's happened in the NFL is, but very well could happen this Sunday in this Chicago-Arizona game. Now, I do expect the Bears to win this game. I mean, I know the Bears have fallen apart. They've lost 5 of the last 6. If the season ended today, they would miss the playoffs at 8-6. They must win this game. They must win next week in Detroit. It's not that I have a whole lot of faith in the Bears. I don't. But I have much, much less faith in the Arizona Cardinals. And I just feel like the reason the line is less than a touchdown here is because the Bears have been so bad recently. And the Cardinals coming off that big win last week, I think that might be just enough where you have some people thinking, well, the Cardinals, they might have some positivity going there finally. They are at home. You know, Chicago has been bad lately, obviously, and they've been bad on offense really all year. As we mentioned, 29th in total offense, 28th in passing offense. We see a low total here, so I guess some people might be thinking, give me the home dog coming off a big win with the 5.5 points. I'm not one of those people. I'm still on the fade Arizona bandwagon. I think last week was a little bit of a fluke. Even though Chicago's been playing some bad football lately, I do expect them to go into Arizona and pick up a win, and I think it's probably going to be by more than 5.5 points.